Hello and welcome. This is Diana and you are watching Holistic Vibes. This is going to be a generalized reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest, right? You may, over the last couple of days, felt yourself, having these waves of, excess energy, that you've been trying to possibly work out, right? Work out of your being, work out of your restlessness, getting into a state of a higher timeline, of being a better version of yourself. It could come through, a consistency in stability, the consistency could be adding stability. It could be elating to your self-mastery, how you are honing in on your own beliefs, after core woundedness through a betrayal of some sort, somebody who played quite innocent in whatever it was that was. It's like a situation that was exhausting, is what they're saying. And so you quite possibly, this is not supposed to be in this deck, but that's okay. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a state of evolution. And so lean into whatever it is that you're currently, what your reality is showing you. Lean into a kinder state of being, a higher state of being. It's because however you're responding right now to your current environments is essentially going to be what it is you're attracting to yourself. So although you may be dipping in your current reality, you may be dipping in your perspective of how things are unfolding. And it could be quite troublesome, right? It could be you're faced with something that is kind of rocking your values or rocking your perspective on yeah. It's literally the what is it? It's an over-exasperation of the environment of what it's showing you, of the toxicity, possibly of how you have perceived things, what your vision of happiness, desire, the where you've been kind of finding it's the fault. It's the overthinking in all of the processes, everything that's been currently unfolding in your reality. It's kind of you have been, whatever someone did, said, or executed, it's kind of shifting your perspective on what you believe a conventional life looks like. I have no idea. But you could feel quite connected to the beach and to the trees. It could kind of bring you into the state of complete balance and serenity, the combo of the two, right? What else do I need to know? What else do I need to see? Something in regards to the structures that you're currently building, right? What the vibration of pleasure looks like to you, what love looks like to you, what passion looks like to you. It's kind of as you are reshifting this is versions, but I saw Venus, Venus shifting, and I saw the Libra scales balancing. And so it's whatever walls have been kind of crumbling, that were weak, right? That, however, are going to be rebound. They're showing me Japanese cracked bowls, how they re-solidify them in gold. It's kind of your wishes will come true after this last perspective of old kind of comes into being. And I'm kind of getting somebody who is quite fed up with having to die and rebirth and die and rebirth and die and rebirth and walk in faith and not by sight, and truly believe that you are following your greater intuition, nothing and no one is impeding you, but you have stepped into your kinghood. You've stepped into a It's like sovereignty. The challenging times are dissipating fully. It's kind of like it's the goodbye song. It's the na, hey, goodbye, right? I don't know. And I just heard like the Old Spice commercial. The da. I don't know. It's the whistle. I just heard it in the background. So, I mean, maybe there's a death to a classic way of being. Possibly a father figure. I don't know. Wherever the burdens have lied, like in regards to the way you're supposed to work, the way you're supposed to provide, the way that the clutter within self, right? The thinking that there's nothing, like everything is hidden beneath the surface. It's nothing is above. Having to do with carrying everybody on your back, having to wear two faces, having to wear two masks, having to, they're also showing me like Victor, Victoria. That was a movie, I think that was in the 80s, maybe early 90s. There's some kind of judgment that's going to be unfolding, having to do with some kind of an impediment in regards to the honing the right direction, the impediment of the right direction. It's kind of like there is literally like a reverse of like whatever disappointment and turmoil somebody's been kind of finding themselves into, whatever's been unfolding currently. In the reality, it's kind of like the clearing and understanding that the wheel in the cog is birthing a new cycle of empowerment through these possibilities of like whatever has been delayed, the trials, the tribulations, the cognitive awareness. It's kind of like once you come into your own being of who you are, of what you were meant to be on this life, like your current understanding of how all pathways lead to home. And it's like the honorable journey. Understanding the rubble that is in the underneath, in the underbelly of the... When you see things for what they truly are, it kind of changes the way in which you're currently manifesting your current reality. It's like as you step into the majesticness of who you are, then those delays are like essentially the impediments and the roadblocks that no one can push you into a state of ruin, right? Like you are creating your own reality. You're opening up your own pathways to like whatever it is that you desire as you proceed forward. It's kind of like if you put your order in, the opportunities will come into being. You have to choose what door you're opening through your awareness of like this evolution of like the vibration of what your truth is. It's kind of like with the clarity, with the understanding, with the meditation, through whatever your cogs in your wheel have been. Whew. Shift that energy. Take a deep breath in and totally clear like whatever has been holding you back, right? Whatever bad mouthing, backstabbing, bitterness, betrayal, anger, resentment, like any wall that has been kind of holding you in a state of flux, waiting for the next shoe to drop, like whether it's been a passing of a loved one, whether it's been like having to say goodbye to things that are no longer serving you, or that are no longer in current resident with you, right? As you're processing your current reality, you're starting to break the ground of those that have walked before you, right? And through this awareness, you are going to be seeing 45 a lot. You're going to be seeing 777. You're going to be seeing 1010. All this disappointment, like you're going to see beyond a shadow of a doubt the why you have gone through, the what you've gone through. It's kind of like God is going to start rewarding and pulling off these blockages, these roadblocks that have been like kind of keeping your heart in lock, in a state of flux. And like through the release of these bondages, through the release of these disappointments, like then you're able to then increase and rebuild the structure that you wish to be, right? I always say it's you experiencing the version from you, but you also holding enough space to allow the other version of that person to experience what it is that they're karmically embedded to, right? Like you are a divine channel in the presence, in the current moment, and through this clarity, through this cognitive awareness, like you then are shifting your trajectory, no longer being in a state of it's kind of like that old saying that like the king can only hear the truth from the jester because they think that the jester is joking, but in actuality the jester is the only one speaking the truth, right? And they've lost their heads for the perspective of that truth, right? So you have to walk a very fine line when you are speaking truth and giving a backhanded compliment. I don't know. That's for somebody. Something to do with work. The inheritance. The inheritance of like the what is truly meant for you. And so, yeah, like take that with whatever you need for the current moment. What is that? I mean, these are pretty cards. Are these really the right ones, though? Okay, this is going to take homework, right? Although I know her quite well. If you don't know Kali, you need to. I personally think these are the spirits that have incarnated in the snake ears. You're essentially like embedded with that Kali energy, right? It's like it's the destroyer. It's the one that literally, like, I always remember in history reading how Genghis Khan, prior to the entry of his encampments, would take his enemies and spike them, right? So that way, as you knew that you were getting closer and closer to camp, that, you know, that could be your fate. And that was kind of like their pre-warning sign, their battle cry of sorts. And she has many facets within herself, right? And they just said like that her it's like her rage can be death and destruction, or it can be life and creation. It's up to those to choose the pathways that have brought you into this fate, right? Like everybody gets two sides of the sword. And as you proceed forward, it's very imperative to understand like which hand is holding the snake and which hand is holding the sword. For those of you that are in the death and rebirth phase, that like this is going to make sense to you, right? Because it's essentially the anchoring that you've been layering out of as you have been proceeded recently in this current phase. It's kind of like the thin layers of the process of the impalement of like your own joy, like your own peace, like the possibilities, the hopes, the wishes, desires, the where you are grieving, where you need to grieve, where you need to rejoice, where you need to celebrate, where you need to all out play in this next celebration, understanding like those roadblocks that have impeded you up to this point were just mere pieces for you to get to this next phase. So in your meditation, like as you proceed forward, like really truly amplifying into your intuition, into your own inner knowing of the I am, of the who I am in the interim, interim, possibly one of or all three of those. I don't know. So like just as you're continuing in this next phase, in this next week, like lean into the what is shifting and changing in your consciousness. What projective are you still not on board with, right? Where are you still lacking in leaving and learning your highest timeline, in leaning into your highest timeline? And that really has to do with whatever's happening in Pluto, Mars, whatever that transit is happening right now. I'm not sure. But it has to do with the drive for power. And again, this could be happening with you. This could be happening within the collective. This could be happening on the greater scope of the earth, right? Take it as it resonates. So take a moment and just kind of honor where your Kali energy had to amplify, had to get in defense because of the wounds that it had been exposed to in this phase. Like whatever this phase unfolding was for you. I think it was a 17-year cycle, if I'm not mistaken. It's either 17 or 12. But like going through and like understanding like where it's living at. And so there's something in the lateral femoral what is that? Cutaneous? I don't know. Cutaneous. Side of the thigh, essentially. The side of the thigh and the interior of the thigh. There's essentially some stuck energy. Just see it, identify it, allow your healing energy of your higher self to come through. Transmute the energy. I'm going to end the reading here, but as you go forward, express and honor your journey. Express and honor the development that you've had up to this point. See where you're still going upstream and where you need to ease into the downstream, right? Take a deep breath and pull in teal. And allow your body to fully shift. Fully come into a state of awareness, ease, flow, balance, aligned with the higher vibration of the who you wish to be when you wake up, when you wish to start your day. Allow yourself to embellish. They keep smashing words. Envelop the codes, the light codes, the moon codes that you need for your role to proceed in the way that it needs to, however it needs to advance, so that you step into a chance encounter that you're meant to have. I don't know. That's for somebody out there. They just said to grab one of these. Because you're going to get more numbers. So 232. It's kind of, there's a reaffirmation of like the time construct, 222. And grounding and stability. It's kind of going to give you clarity in the rules that are proceeding forward, like kind of the understanding of the partnership that's meant to become. It's going to resonate for who it needs to. It's kind of like you are going to see the energies that you are attracting with the vibrational frequencies that you're stepping into as of right now. So I'm going to leave that there. If something in this resonates, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's the only way that the video can be seen. And yeah, let's make something happen. Let's go ahead and pull in yellow. And just visualize and clear and cut any tethers, any chains, any impediments that are trying to keep you in a lower paradigm. With cognitive awareness, with light, with understanding, you can create your own reality. You are the captain of your own ship. And through this foundation of peace and contentment, and the affinity that you truly do know what is coming next, it's going to amplify this next, I don't know, traditional institution, whatever you're stepping into. So I'm going to leave that there. If something resonates with you, again, give it a like. Ciao.